Yo, yo. Yo, yo. I actually just got back. I bought a few different things that I'll be looking at. I'll show you a few things I did. I experimented a little bit with what I had on hand, and then I ended up going out and buying a few things, very like basic things to try and work with. So what I ended up doing, you could literally roll sandpaper. You can roll sandpaper thin, right? And then kind of like throw it between cracks and crevices. I also ended up getting adhesive sandpaper. So this is kind of a goopy on the back, right? And you can maybe put it around like a toothpick. As an example, maybe have it like this. And then you cut something like that. And then the sides kind of need to join up like this. That's an idea, right? I made homemade ones. It's just, I mean, there's so many different things you could do, right? Like, it works, it gets in there, and it's still the same exact grit that you need it, so 1,000 grit. Either way, it's a little janky, obviously, but that was one thing. Or instead of this, instead of the stick, you could just fold it in half like this. The adhesive keeps it together. And then you just go in, right? This, because of the adhesive, I find is a little easier, but that's an option. And then I did this unholy fucking abomination, which, I mean, it works, oddly enough. It's spray glue with a drop of super glue. And the goal was that you take your clippers or your scissors, and you literally do this. And then you get that. 3 to 4 sticks, and glue them together so sandpaper can hold to it better. I mean, this worked fine. The thing is, you don't want it too big, I suppose. You want it to be able to fit, like, I mean, this is pretty precise, right? Either way, I got it to work. There's so many different, like, methods to this. I also went to a hobby store and they had, like, files. I was checking out some of their metal files. Because the problem with files in general is that the grit is too low. It's meant to kind of like clear debris, not really polish. Whereas sandpaper is meant for polishing. So I purchased like one of them was like, fuck, $15. And it looked pretty good on the grit, so I'm going to go take a look at that. Maybe it will be infinitely easier than doing this, right? But either way, it works pretty all right. A little scuffed, I'd say, but like, if it gets the job done, who cares, you know? Any tips on coloring Night Lords? I have no clue. Skin tight? No, these aren't as tight as they should be. They could be a little bit tighter. But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But there was that. I don't know. I think overall, honestly, what I've got going on, maybe the adhesive stuff was good. Gluing a fucking toothpick is good, right? Like, it's just options. You could also cut the paper tighter to the stick. Just shave it down like this. I think, honestly, you'd probably, I mean, this won't last long. This is basically already done. It's good, though. It actually does work. It definitely is doing a little bit, but I don't want to prepare those anymore. This was so awful. Making this, I have like one more sheet of it. It's so garbage. Garbage to make, but it worked, so just options. Trying to min-max cleaning metal miniatures. We've already figured out a way to clean all the plastics just fine, but honestly, when it comes to cleaning metal, it's the exact same thing. Bum, 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 bum. The only other thing I did find, again, was a little file, be it very expensive, so I don't know if it's even worth using on metal. That was the intention of me buying it, but either way, it comes out pretty good once you kind of work at it, so it's not that big of a deal. The file, though, where is the file? This fucking thing. Good God, what is this? Do not work on metals. The teeth will get damaged. Yeah, this is like a very $18 for a plastic file. But it's like so perfect. It's just, it's hard because like I can still use it for plastics, but I think this one was a little bit better. Wait, they're all meant for... How is this meant for metal plastic miniatures? This looks very abrasive. But yeah. Either way, I do like this, though. The adhesive sandpaper seems really useful if I can actually use it properly, maybe with this. Just to try it again. Maybe if I do that. Tear up yeah, it did. It did look that way. To me, this looks legit. I don't think you could get any better than that. Look at that. Pretty good to me, man. Put a bit of water. I think that's the best it'll be, to be honest. And that way you can get under arms, you can get in between legs, hands. I like it. It's a little bit easier than, like, rolling up paper repeatedly to try and do it. Very nice. And the biggest thing is that it's 1,000 grit. That's how I scratch my balls. God bless you, brother. That's how it should be. And then it falls off, see? Seems good. Maybe the water is kind of, ruining it a bit. Maybe tonight. Maybe. We're busy. I never found sanding sticks. No, we're making our own. The problem with the sanding sticks is that they're not the right grit. You need them a certain grit. It's more of, the best way to put it is it's a polishing stick. So, like, it's one thing to essentially use a file, but the files are, like, you can't get a smooth finish with these files. You can literally see the grit, right? The grit, this will tear up the miniature to a degree. And then you're supposed to sand it down with something else afterwards. But what I was looking for something that actually sanded and cleaned, like, polished the miniature through and through. Some sort of, like, if there was any grits on files, I don't think that's how that works. Working with that. But honestly, this is the equivalent. This seems pretty legit, so I'm not going to complain. This is good. This is exactly what I needed. I'm not playing the new game, not yet, no. No, I'm painting them. These are getting painted. This is probably the first thing I could paint on stream. There's no conversions. There's nothing. It was supposed to be the spearhead. But the spearhead is a lot of conversions that I can't really work on right now. These are going to be 100% painted. Kind of lame that all the minis are metal, but I guess you got to work on metal these days. A lot of these metal minis take a very long time to clean up. You can't really get under there. The adhesive doesn't like water. Who would have thought? Well, it's not even. It was cheaper back in the day. It still is. Metal is like the cheapest thing to do. No longer now with 3D printing. I'm sure of it, but metal is. You could do a bunch of things in metal or resin because you pour the resin, right? Plastic was always like injection molded, big machine, serious business, lots of tooling. This is pretty rudimentary, right? Like it just gets poured like this. And you're good to go, right? Very very simple. I believe it gets poured like that. I mean, they actually go, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they go like sideways or something. It's been a while. No, I play games with them. Yeah, metal is just more just such an accessible way of making miniatures. But metal minis definitely have their charm. I used to dislike them until, until you know how to clean them up. And then once you know how to clean them up, they're not nearly as bad, right? And crazily enough, like I said, cleaning them is just kind of a little bit more tedious than plastic, but it's very similar. Like, you can use the same grit of sandpaper. You can do the same techniques of using a blade. Same type of blade. It's just you kind of have to whittle away at it quite a bit. What type of minis do you dislike the most? The ones that aren't dwarves. A lot of them. Nah, I don't really know. Honestly, I think, oops. The adhesion's done. I think a lot of, you know what I should do? Let me get through these ugly things. I did make them after all. Might as well. When it comes to fine cast, that's got to be the worst. Nothing is worse than fine cast. Fine cast is just terrible. It's pure trash. Fine cast is so booty. Thankfully, Finecast was very short-lived. It didn't really get far. So, what material? Finecast, resin. I've been waiting for you to stream. Well, here we are for a little bit. God bless you, brother. We're just going to be making metal dwarves into the sunset. Many metal dwarves. I don't think there's a product out there that does what I want it to do. I don't think anyone's even made them, to be honest. I'm surprised there's no, like, toothpick sand sticks. You know what I mean? Imagine a product that's sandpaper, except it's a toothpick. And it's very precise. And it's, of course, you don't, keep them forever. You throw them away. But, like, why has nobody made that? Seems like such an amazing, useful product. Like, look at this. You just take this sandpaper toothpick, go behind the bow. Like, very shocking. No one's done this. Sure, people have done it, like, as just an option when they're in their own little toolbox, but I don't think brands do it. Too niche of a product? Maybe. No, we haven't played the new Space Marine. Not anytime soon, but, like, I plan on giving it a gander, for sure. I mean, in a world of, like, miniature hobbying, you would just think that there would be someone who's thought of it. It's mainly the idea of precision. More than anything, it's precision. You can put a toothpick anywhere. I could put a toothpick here, here, here. Like, instead of big sticks that kind of just don't get anywhere you want them to, this can go wherever. And again, it's not even like, oh, it's supposed to last forever, because they're not going to. But you use them for what they're good for, and then you move on. Get another one. Yo. Mini sparklers? Kinda. I am cleaning up miniatures. We're sanding down imperfections and cleaning up things is what we're doing. Like, whenever you want to make miniatures, you've got a lot of little imperfections and lines and excess things. A lot of stuff that shouldn't be there, basically, is what we're trying to fix. Just a lot of back and forth with things. That's basically it. In a perfect world where everything is perfectly cast and you don't have to think for even 2 seconds. Lovely. Well, that's the goal, yeah. Less imperfections for when you paint. It's it's not that you have to do everything, but it's if you decide to get a lot of the problems out, it looks really good when you paint. If you care about that stuff. If you don't, and you kind of like the little imperfections, that's cool. And I don't mind a few of them, but it's more of just there's a lot of egregious ones that will get in the way and look kind of ugly. So I figured, you know, spending a little bit more time on those makes a bit more sense, right? These bows have a lot of them. The bows got a bunch of them. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's very time consuming, but, you know, a lot of things are in life. $18 karat. I mean, I've got an 18 karat laced Warhammer mini, unironically. It's funny you'd say that. Or something carat. It's, that's like jewelry, man. Like, Warhammer's meant to be like a... They'd buy anything. Probably. If you did that with Space Marines, you'd probably get it. You'd most likely get it. I think only Space Marines would sell stuff like that. You prime before you paint? Of course you have to. Not the new one, no. Well, no, there's a bunch of sandpaper like that. You could do, most sandpaper should be easily wrappable. It's just a matter of keeping it wrapped around. And again, I've got adhesive sandpaper now, so it's pretty legit. It's better than anything I could cook. I tried to cook last night. I made, glue-laced super glue toothpick cutouts. Yeah, not the best, but they actually do kind of work, but not the best. Yo, yo. Yeah, some of it works, some of it doesn't, but you work at it. Some of it works, some of it don't. Take a look at this again. These archers are so awful to put together. Not even put together, there's one piece, but like, clean up. The cleanup is awful. Spotify playlist? I don't even use a playlist, brother. These are all just songs that I clicked, I like it, and it's in a liked list. These models, I think, are about 21 years old now. 2003, 21 years. They look like the scientists at the end of Alien 3. Give me the queen! Wayland needs the queen! Where is she? These models are 21 years old. Older than everyone in chat. Not that old, though. There's many more older miniatures, like 80s, 90s. This is early 2000s. collections in my socials. I don't have anything posted of Warhammer now. Miniature collections, well, only now do I have space and shelves up to actually work on them. If I had kept my old collections from my youth, that'd be a different story, but this is kind of the, this is the miniature redo in the, adult phase of my life. So miniature-wise, not much out, but merchandise and all this other weird shit that I've kept over the years, a lot of it. A lot of it. Miniatures, not as much. Oh. Who and how did you get into the hobby? I've been into this hobby for, again, like 20-odd years. I wrote up a little bit about it below the stream. It might be a little bit easier to kind of read a little bit of that. The good old days, man. The good old days of Warhammer. You know, I walk into a Games Workshop, and you're almost compelled to buy something, even if it's a paint. But it's very hard for me to spend money at game stores these days, because I'm not really interested in miniatures anymore. All the miniatures that I love are the ones that I grew up with, and those can't really be brought back, not anytime soon. Like, Old World, lovely, love it, but Age of Sigmar stuff, 40k stuff right now, it's a little bit of a pass, I don't know. Like, I want to be compelled to give Games Workshop $10, you know, but I can't. I want to. Like, take my money, take $10, man. Well, Old World is back, yeah, like, that stuff I love. Now I feel old. High school in the early 2000s. I mean, hey, brother. We're all getting there. We're all getting there. Same destination. It's good, though. It's good to have those memories. But yeah, the Old World's already back. I've got... I still have all my stuff from when it was around, so I didn't really buy anything this time around outside of the new stuff. So, like, characters and the book that they offered, the new one. Their made-to-orders are really fun. I like those. The made-to-order stuff is kind of my time, at least if they end up going with, like, the 2000s, like, and onward sculpts. They sometimes release ones even past the 2000s, like 90s, which is great, but a lot of that's nostalgia. You know, it's not really for everyone. It's not something you'd keep in a store. I don't think you're going to have Timmy, Jimmy, and Bob walk in and be like, I want the Grots from the 90s. I want the Orc Commandos from the 90s, please. It's like, So. I wish they would keep it, though. I really do. I wish Games Workshop would just be like, everything is available to order. It's just on a made-to-order basis. That'd be awesome. Imagine getting any miniature from GW's history, you know, up to maybe, like, the late 90s. That'd be cool. I gotta put this down. I'll work on a different one for now. Honestly, yeah, they could do that. With made to order, they could do a lot of nice things now. I mean, they're literally casting up a lot of old minis in, like, Forge World resin, which to me, I'd love to see a few of that, you know, with some certain units. As cool as metal may be, and as nostalgic as metal is, you know, I'm assuming some people still want resin. They changed over the years in the same place? What do you mean? It's just, I don't know, there's something about... I guess it's nostalgia. It's not like there's something about old minis. It's just if that's what you grew up with, you've got nostalgia for that, and that's kind of your jam. Certain aesthetics, certain styles, you know, things just kind of work with you a bit better. Oh, changed visually? Oh, well, they're very, I would say the new sculpts are very clean. Very, very clean, very precise, very, manufactured, I guess is a good way to put it. Because they're all done digitally, and that's not a bad thing. But a lot of the older minis certainly had a little bit more of, like, a grittiness to them, I suppose, because they're all mostly hand-sculpted. I don't know. Hard to explain on that regard, but, like, or in that regard. It's really just what visuals people like. The new stuff, the old stuff, super ancient stuff, super new stuff, whatever it may be. Sometimes they try to go with, like, a similar aesthetic, you know, if they're updating units, but the only unit that they had came out in, like, the 90s or whatever. They'd still kind of keep the same style, but just make it digital sculpted, digitally. Figures in clay? No, not really. That's a lot of work. You can modify your own miniatures, which is more of what I'm into, not really making my own.
Shut up, you dickhead, now fuck off!
Zermino, thank you, buddy. Yeah, the old Space Marines were, the old Space Marines, we're talking like the 2000s, not like the Rogue Trader Beakies. They're cool. I remember starting a bit with those. The one thing I never liked, though, and I never understood, Games Workshop used to, they used to make miniatures where you'd have to clip the triggers or, like, the grips out of the guns and then glue them into the hands, and the hands would look like this. So you'd glue the gun here, right? Very bizarre. I never understood that. It was like an extra awful step. Something that I actually don't like. Usually I like the old stuff, but that's something I didn't like. Yeah, that was weird. The cool thing, though, about that, because there is an upside, is that if you ever wanted bits for conversions, you'd basically have full guns with the grip, with the trigger and everything, that you could place on backs, you could place, you know, slung under an arm, you could throw them in a vehicle like they're holstered to a wall or something. That's cool, but for infantry, no way. Never done any figures. My ADHD would never, but it's a vibe. Honestly, if you tried it, maybe you'd be able to break out of that. Because what it really boils down to is just barriers, man. I've got problems. I got mental problems when it comes to a lot of this, like, perfectionist shit. But sometimes you just need to break through some barriers, and you'll be able to do it. I guess you never know until you try, right? Yeah. Your brain, man. Your brain's your worst enemy sometimes. But that's you, man. Your brain is you. Your body is just like the mech suit. Yeah, that's fair. What was the problem, really? You just couldn't do it? Did it get, like, too boring or something, or what? Because miniature making, or cleaning, whatever you want to call it, it's a process, and it's a tedious one at that. You know, you don't have to go all in and make everything kind of like a chore. But I'm sure there's workarounds. Yeah, Star Wars is good. I mean, yeah. See, when it comes to this hobby, being inspired is one of the biggest things that'll keep you going. Seeing other people achieve things and then telling yourself, man, if he could do it, I can do it. If a motherfucker can build a Titan, you know how many pieces a Titan is? You know how big that thing is? If he can do it, Titan, I can clean a dwarf. So it really is, you know, seeing other people's work, seeing what they've done, it is inspiring. Not to say that I've seen a video of a guy building a Titan and then told myself, you know, I could build the dwarf. But if you buy the stuff, you might as well work on the stuff. You may as well build it, right? I've had these miniatures for years, 10, 15 years. They're sitting in a bin. Like, you know, you tell yourself, I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get it the next day. No, you won't, man. You'll get it when you fucking actually work on it. A lot of people don't have this problem. A lot of people have multiple armies, you know, things like that, but it certainly takes a bit of time to get through some of these if you really want to get them done well, I suppose. People usually keep track of their hobbies and things that they're working on. There's like threads in Discord where people post their progress on making stuff. Again, just a bit of inspiration, right? Either for themselves or for others. It certainly helps when you're streaming this shit because you're almost like obligated to work on it, right? It's not good to just tell yourself, hey, we'll get it tomorrow, and then you just don't. Because then the next day you say the same thing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Warhammer is kind of like an all-encompassing hobby. You've got miniatures, reading, video games, just a ton of different things. If you could get into it, it's great. Like, it could be the cure-all hobby, to be honest, instead of doing multiple ones, but it's a bit different. Playing the game is motivating. Yep, that's what somebody said as well. It's like, if you want to play the game, you'll be motivated to work on more stuff so that you can play the game with that, right? But another thing is that, well, what if the person doesn't really like the game? You know, what if they don't really want to play the game and they maybe just get burnt out of building and painting and things? I don't know. At that point, play the game, but glasses are not on. I mean, part of the hobby with Warhammer is kind of the creation of things. The making of an army, the painting, the modeling. It's a kind of like do-it-yourself scenario where they give you all of the pieces and you're kind of just making it your own and putting your own spin on things. People like that creative freedom because that's really what it is. It's creative freedom. Creative freedom. Star Wars is just trash, though. Yeah, Star Wars is not good. Star Wars became just so poorly done. I've actually lost hope for Star Wars, but either way, you can't fuck with the old stuff. The old stuff is goated. It's like saying, oh, Warhammer is so garbage. It's so woke. There's a woman. Oh my god, there's that Space Marine black. It's so woke. It's terrible. It's like, guys, how brain dead are we? And then, you know, whatever you might say, whatever you might not agree with, like, there's so much history to all of these things. Star Wars, Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, you know, like, if you're not a fan of certain things, you can still love the hobby. You can still love the stuff they've done in the past. It's completely up to you, man. You don't have to hate something just because something's introduced that you don't agree with, right? Which, if that's the case, I mean, if you don't agree with certain things, you're kind of a freak, but either way, man, I think new Star Wars is pure dog shit. I don't think there's anything redeeming about it. Just super poorly written, very boring, very bland, very unbelievable, very kid-friendly, very safe. It's kind of like insulting to the viewers almost to even post some of this stuff because they really just hold your hand when you watch the show. Right? Like, it's awful, man. It's something about it. It's awful. And the Acolyte being canceled, I mean, you know, they did their whole spiel of like, you know, I think the main actress came out and said everyone's a bigot and they're racist and stuff, but it's like the show just sucked, man. I don't know. Certain things, they just don't go over well. If the writing was good, that's all that matters. You know, people can like stuff. People can hate stuff, but at the end of the day, what people want is a quality product. We don't care about the color of your skin. We don't care about any of that stuff. And if you do, you're just a loser, right? We just want a good show that's believable, that's got good writing, that's got good characters. Like, if you're going to sit there and complain about, oh my god, this and that, it's like, guys, the show has to be good, first and foremost. That's all that matters. Rogue One was good. I mean, there's certain, like, it's just, I just want a good show to watch. Like, that's all I care about, man. Star Wars just doesn't have any good shows to watch, unfortunately. All the stuff they put out is like, it's like a 4 out of 10, really. I would say. Probably even less, right? Like, The Acolyte sucked, Ahsoka sucked. Not the worst shows I've ever seen, but they weren't really good from start to finish. There was a few saving graces, but most of the show was very lackluster. Just good shows, man. That's what people want. Well, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is make the shows good. I don't care who you cast in the roles as long as it's good acting. That's all I care about. Make the show good. Andor was incredible. and I didn't even care for the cast. You know why? Because the story was so well written, the episodes were directed great, the actors were believable. You know, you could have had any actor that would have been believable, but there you go. It's just, Star Wars isn't really meant for adults. I think some of it can be serious, but actually, you know what? It's not that it's not meant for adults. It's meant for kind of everyone, you know? Like, the kids should be involved. Yeah, Star Wars was always a kid-friendly IP. But to the point where, like, it's super brain dead is kind of disappointing. Because it just takes you out of the story, right? It's like, I don't know if you've seen the episodes of Obi-Wan where they're leaving the Empire base, and they have Leia in the big trench coat, and she's walking around. What kind of dumb decisions? Like, really, really stupid stuff. That's not what people want. Nobody wants that. Just write a good show, man. That's it. I love Star Wars, but I just can't, man. I don't know what to do with it. I want to be a Disney shill. Not really, but I want to say that I've liked a show of theirs. But either way. Maybe being a Disney shill isn't the best thing, actually. Season 2 Andor's coming out soon. I think it's out next year, right? That was certainly... That really just goes to show you, like, I don't think there was a single actor outside of Andy Serkis that I was like, yeah, let's go in Andor. Or maybe, forgot the old guy's name. He's like the informant dude. Like, the actors in Andor don't really do, like, they're not really big names, or they're not, you know, oh man, he's the best in that show. But the show's just so well done that, like, you don't even care. Great. You're just watching something believable from a galaxy that doesn't exist, but it feels like it could. And that, I think, in essence, is what they should try and make you feel. They should try and make you feel like you're in that universe, you know? When you've created something like Runeterra, Warhammer 40k, fantasy, whatever it may be, you want to be put in it, not taken out of it. If you want to be taken out of it, well, we've got real life for a reason. Real life ain't all that fun stuff. So. Video of what? Exactly. Yeah. That too. When actors no longer feel like actors, but more so characters, that's when you've done it. The same can't be said for, like, The Rock. You know, Kevin Hart, kind of. Those actors, like, you know, comedians or whatever it may be. You get a sense of them, but not the characters they play, unfortunately. Even Jack Black's kind of a bit of that now. But either way, you know, I'm not trying to rain on everyone's parade. Just an opinion. It is merely an opinion. Don't hate me for an opinion. Too late. The no, a lot of the memorable, you know, characters, not characters, but people who end up in films are, yeah, unfortunately just playing themselves. Yeah, I think most of us have. Like, again, Jack Black in that, it just seems so disappointing. It's like, I'm Steve. Just Jack Black. Yep. I see. I ended up watching the Borderlands movie on YouTube because someone uploaded the movie to YouTube and they never shut it down because they just didn't care. I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's just garbage. It's bad for sure. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. Come to think of it, a lot of the movies I've seen lately, maybe I'm just getting old, but I haven't really enjoyed the movies I've seen lately. So I've seen Aliens Romulus, which was probably the best film of the bunch, at like a 6.5 to 7. I saw the Borderlands movie, which was also kind of shite. I saw Beetlejuice, which was actually kind of shit. And I ended up seeing The Watchers, which is a shit movie as well. Very mid movies. I wasn't really impressed. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting too much and it was just kind of whatever, but wasn't as exciting, unfortunately. Was it? Yeah. What would you rate Beetlejuice? It was so confusing. Not like it was hard to follow, but there's like two different plots going on at once and both of them aren't interesting. It was, yeah, Beetlejuice was more of a cameo in his own movie. It didn't feel very organic. I did not like the second movie. You know, some people were like, "Oh, I loved it. It was amazing." I would, yeah. It wasn't very good. I went with my brother, and my brother had recently seen the first Beetlejuice, and he's like, "Oh, I love the first one. It was great." I'm like, "Well, apparently the second one's having really good reviews, and it's a great movie, and everyone says it's awesome." I go, and we're both kind of just like shaking our heads. Not good. Old school RuneScape? Yeah, I've played it. Dwayne. Yeah, the Rock's, I don't want to keep sounding like I'm salty over everything. Because that's not how I am. But I haven't really been impressed lately with a lot of things. And how is this? Oh, there's no line going through this hair. God damn it. Good casting. The worst thing is there's a giant fucking line going through his hair. Yikes. I mean, it's good to wear a mask when you're working with whatever, usually. Romulus had good practical effects, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a few, awesome things in movies that we may not like, for sure. I think it's more so, speaking of the overall experience being kind of shit. Like, Beetlejuice, I love the practical effects. Beetlejuice was great for that. Michael Keaton was perfect. The overall movie was so lost, it didn't know what it wanted to do. It didn't need to exist, I think, is another one. Beetlejuice, just, we didn't need it. Or if we did need it, we needed it in a different way. Jenna Ortega, she didn't want to be there, bro. She's like that moody little fucking bastard child. She didn't want to be there. Or rather, that's how it felt. That was the writing, probably, but like... I actually would have liked to see more Michael Keaton. I don't know, Beetlejuice, for me, I mean, it's literally called Beetlejuice. Don't you want more Beetlejuice? He really felt like a passenger in his own movie. And again, I've seen a few reviews where it's like he felt more of a cameo. That's what he did feel like. They couldn't show you know what they did with the guy who ended up being eaten by a shark? Was that the husband of the lady? He could not be in the film because he was convicted of being, a bit of a top laner. So he still needed to be in the film, and he was kind of the center of the plot. like where they're all kind of, you know, coming together in, well, coming back for his funeral. And, I mean, it's, I don't know, weird. Weird movie. He was being a bit of a top laner back in the day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, the original movie, Beetlejuice, wasn't really the main star of it. He was certainly there periodically. But that's what made the movie so fun, seeing that guy, right? It was a weird one. Beetlejuice wasn't an amazing film, but it was good. It was very good. I think I fixed this guy's hair. You can't really see it. You can see a bit of it. There was a giant mold line going through his hair. I had to chop it down, sand it, and then stab the hairs back into place with a knife. Just so it looks proper. And now I think it's smooth enough. There's a bit, though. Dowie hair specialist. Keeps everything together. If you don't want big bouts of metal dust floating in your room, wet a little bit, sand it, get it nice and smooth. You're good to go. Still a little bit of a line. It's kind of hard to get, though. These have got to be the worst fucking lines to deal with. Metal minis, but lines through heads. Yeah, these old minis are metal. Normally, cleanup on metal minis isn't terrible, but sometimes when they cast them, they've got really, really unfortunate things. I think the only way to fix this is with, probably putty. You just get unlucky with casting sometimes, because the exact miniature that I have, this one doesn't have the mold line so pronounced, and it's even pushed back more. The camera may not pick it up because I've worked on it so much, but like, the hair is cleaner on this sculpt than on this one, just because the casting was kind of shite. But it's fine. Metal Dowie. Well, I'll say this much. If every single dwarven miniature was in metal, I'd be pissed. Crazily enough, all these are in metal, actually. The whole army's straight metal, but... for basic troops to be made in metal, that is just fucked. That's a little disturbing. Very, very disturbing. I painted a few minis recently. I mean... Dwarf Warrior. Nothing crazy, just kind of like a test paint for fun. Little dinky, you know. So. Painting is not on the menu right now. Building is on the menu. Vision 2? No. Zahio, buddy. I'd like to paint minis, but everything I've done so far is not really feasible because it's all sub-assemblies and all this other shit, but this is pretty easy. This is a one and done. This is basically clean it up to the best of your abilities and then go paint it. Fives, thank you, buddy. Metal minis just take a very long time to clean. Especially old ones that have a lot of inconsistencies, the best way to put it. How do you get good at painting miniatures? Probably patience and YouTube videos. Watching a bunch of YouTube videos, color theory, you know, other tutorials, just ideas and tricks and tips. A whole bout of patience. It'll come to you. It's certainly not something you get good at overnight. Lots of practice. With anything, practice, right? I would say, I think there was one thing. Getting good at miniature painting typically came with, like, painting individual minis, but then trying different techniques, and basically just going crazy. doing anything and everything you can to just experiment and fuck around, and eventually you'll kind of figure out what works for you, what doesn't. Different techniques. Yeah, you can buy a bunch of cheap minis, you could paint cheap stuff, go to the dollar store. Whatever it is you want to do, I've always been told that painting individual stuff, just taking your time with doing it, would help you improve better. But just painting in general, right? When it comes to any sort of hobbying, you'll only learn by doing it. Or watching a video. But then you also have to kind of put it into practice. Oh, you can mess up a ton of stuff for sure. The biggest thing about making minis and doing things is trusting the process. It may look like shit initially, but the more you work at it, within a reasonable amount of, whittling, sometimes people go overboard. Painting your sprues, especially for blending, anything. Spheres, like I was practicing on a shield. This is the first time I've blended in years. It came out okay. That was literally the first time in probably 5, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And I wasn't even doing it a lot back then. So it's just patience. If you're not really much of a hobbyer and you want to play the game, blow through it. Who cares? Just get it done. But if you want to take your time to kind of learn something and, hone it, because once you've honed it and once you're very happy with it, it's not that you can't keep learning, but you'll be done. Like right now, I'm still trying to work at the mold line that's literally going through his hair. And I think I've got it. I think it looks pretty damn good. Like all that line you can see right here, right there, I don't think is even a thing. It's just the light. Because I've gotten basically every individual strand of hair. I mean, bro, just practice, man. Practice. Patience, clear space, clear mind. I'm not a good painter. I think the number one thing I don't do enough when I paint is I don't take the highlights too high. I don't go for the extreme highlights, like the very, very bright spots. I can highlight just fine, but knowing when to kind of stop is kind of where I'm at. Mm. Okay, fucking hell. The beauty of metal miniatures, everything is just jank. Jank, but nostalgia jank. Can't go wrong with a bit of nostalgia. Well, it's just, it's, if you want the mini to look a certain way, it's got to be done, so. It's all good. Work at it, work at it, work at it. File, 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 cut. My hands are cramping. I have an army of these guys as well. I have so many. I have probably, I don't know, 20 of them, which is kind of a lot for metal. Here's one cubby of them. I have like maybe 2 more cubbies. I love these sculpts, but they're all the same. So I'm kind of weighing my options here, you know? It would be the dream army. The old school army. You mix them in with the plastics, they'd look great. The plastics are certainly a lot easier to work with, but they don't look as good for some reason. They're not as fulfilling. Oh, metals. I don't cut my fingers at all on this. It's just be patient. Be a little bit more patient with metal minis, and you're way good. Good arms. I don't. The fuck if I know? Google. Gulagaloo. Yeah. I mean, you look in any old book and you've got entire pages of metal minis, or potentially studio resin minis. I think this is the only time when metal minis don't disappoint me in terms of repetition. Like, I grew up looking at these minis. I had a bunch of them, but there's two books in the back of my mom's car that I would always read 24/7. I think it was either the 4th edition 40K book or the 5th edition one, and then it was also the Shadow and Flame Lord of the Rings supplement. And that Lord of the Rings supplement was all of the dwarves. That was for sure the childhood. Same thing with the 40K one, and then eventually it spawned like fantasy, but it was great. I can stomach it. I can look at the same sculpt 20 times and be like, yeah. Better to paint. You think it's better to paint plastic than metal? Or vice versa, sorry. I'm going to have to get back into painting these. I'm only doing one of each sculpt this time around, so 3 archers, 3 hand weapons, I think 8 Khazad guard with Ballin, and then maybe 2 dwarf kings is kind of where I'm at with the cleanup, and that should be all the sculpts from the book anyways. And it'll be a good exercise in just doing something. They were. I'm kind of selling my Votan. I'm actually more intrigued by the old squats from Rogue Trader. I've got a bunch of those that I should actually turn into a Votan army. Feels better to paint metal than plastic. Yeah, that's all I said. Like, you really think it's better for metal than plastic to paint? My mom did not read the books now. It was me reading them, but I kept them in the back of my mom's, like, seat. Whenever I wanted to go out, I'd always bring the Warhammer books. They'd stay there. Well, you don't got to do anything you don't want to do, brother. me try and get a little bit more of this around a toothpick. Water. Yeah, take it easy, man. Peace, peace. Well, go do it then, dude. By God, if you need to, go do it. This adhesive is not the best, but it does something. Better than nothing. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let me try a little bit bigger. The adhesive helps, but it's not like super, super sticky. Try that. Perfect. Damn. Oof. Oh, no, it's coming undone. Fucking hell. Yes, but no play. Yes, but no play. Right, let's use some of this scuffed shit. The homemade poker. And the mold line on this thing is so awful. So bad. It's terrible. No blade nor sandpaper, nothing. This one has problems. Cleaning metal miniatures. This needs to come off. I'm like dying. Can't breathe. Rather breathe in a bit of dust than die early. Yeah. Fucking Christ. Cleaning metal minis. It's getting a bit tedious. Just a little bit. Yeah, cleaning, scraping, yep. Filing down. Oh. Whittling. Ooh. Hmm. Well, this is used for a game. You can collect them, but it's normally just like a... Could be a game. Could be anything. They've got all that stuff available. You can do a ton of different stuff with the miniatures. It's just unfortunately these ones are not in the best shape. Monster cans? I mean, hey, that's something. A little different, but it's something. Normally, collections are just a passion for something. It's the love of something. You collect what you love, or you collect what kind of brings you back, gives you good old nostalgia memories. Hmm. How's Kyo, buddy? Well, I mean, League figures, they look pretty good. The price is, you know, maybe not the most fun, but League doesn't really do that much merch. They don't do that much. Sometimes they do cool things, but my mother, I mean, not anymore. I'm not like 10 years old anymore. If she wanted to see them, I'd show her, but if I spent a long time on a piece, I'd be like, hey, look what I made, you know? But I don't typically do that. This mini's like royally fucked. His fingers are fucked. The bow is fucked. Everything's fucked. But I can't give up. I'll make it work. Cobb, so yo, buddy. Take it easy, man. Peace, brother. I will make it work. Arms are so dead. Some castings of miniatures just don't want you to win. Some of them really don't. This may be one of them. Bent fingers, mold lines running through hair. It doesn't want you to succeed, but you must. Metal dwarves, yes. Like we've been working on this one for like an hour. They just don't get any better. Used to collect Hot Wheels when I was 13, but my uncle's kids. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do that, man. You get rid of your stuff, you give them to family that can appreciate it. That's certainly a thing. Legacy, yo, buddy. That is certainly a thing. Alrighty. Yeah, we're good. Just busy. Chilling. Very busy, though. I'll probably be getting out of here soon. The dust. The dust. Yeah, I'll probably get out of here soon to, I gotta make dinner. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what you liked growing up, other kids like the same stuff. So I wouldn't mind, you know, passing on a few things to loved ones if they get to experience the same thing you did, you know? Bum 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 ba da bum 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 ba. Jesus, give me a break, Lord. I loathe trying to fix every mistake. Show mercy, God, show mercy. Please. Dinner. No, I'm hungry, man. I'm very hungry. And if it gets my hands resting, because Jesus, dude, I've got the cramps. Everything is cramped. Really, really cramped. 2 hours of, like, whittling on the same thing is pretty bad. About an hour. Just trying to do the best I can. Red guard, yo, buddy. Oh, jeez, man. Thankfully, I'm only doing one of this sculpt. Is the next sculpt even better? Let's see, hang on. Oh, Lord in heaven. The disease. Jesus. The mold lines. You can't really see them on camera, but yikes. Metal minis, baby. Metal minis. You want them looking half decent? You gotta sit there for 3 hours. Lovely. The things we do. A little bit of 40K. More when I was younger, for sure. Working and playing this disgusting league. That's the life, bro. You go to work, you go to school, and you do hobbies. That's it. That is life. Lovely hobbies. think I'm going to put this down for a little bit. Sometimes you get so sick of working on the same piece, you need a break. Work on a different one, get the mental back. Today I got laundry detergent. It's funny you'd say that, because I am also out of laundry detergent, and I think I ordered some, and today I get it, so I can do laundry as well. God willed it, brother. He did. Do a bit of this. So when you work on miniatures, less is more. You kind of gradually work up to things instead of taking big drastic steps. That way you don't fuck things up to the point where you can't salvage it. But I think there's been a few times where I've fucked things up and you can't salvage it. Not so much with metal minis. Metal minis are pretty hard to fuck up because they're so dense. Like, you have to work very slowly with them. You can't just take, big chunks of plastic out like you would with plastic minis. So right now, on these guys, not really, but maybe in the past. Did my great unclean one remind you to shower? Hell no. Look at the color of my shirt. If it's not washed out because of the camera. Look good, bro. Did you just, that's one of the old Forge World ones, right? Like, that's one of the best ones for sure. That's a good one. We're good. I feel bad for Mochi. Mochi came with us for a little car ride, and he puked about 4 times. I feel so bad for baby Moch. So, he's chilling right now. He's just hanging out, relaxing. He gets car sick. He doesn't like being in the car. He likes sticking his head out the window, but he doesn't do well. Scabia tracks. I mean, that's probably one of their best sculpts. Like, nameless character, named character, whatever it may be, that's like one of the best Great Unclean ones. For sure. It's really, really good. Yeah, he's alright, though. He threw up, and then I was like, oh, okay, you're okay, Mochi. That's great. And then he was fine for a bit, and he kept going. He's okay now, though. Definitely car sickness. Again, he'll want to go in the car, but when he's there, he's just like... not made for it. He's baby. Use those. We have, but we don't have space right now, man. And the money it takes to run one, like... right now, no. But in the future, I wouldn't mind it, honestly. More space. Whatever it may be. That's like an in the future thing. Man, this has got to be the worst mini I've cleaned. Fucking hell, the mold lines are so bad. But it's such a classic sculpt. You can't not but love it. Even though it takes 30 years. I'm going to say maybe super late today, but I don't want to promise anything. Maybe super late today. I was supposed to stream today, but there's just quite a bit going on here. Obviously, right now I'm not really partaking, but... well, we'll see. Maybe later tonight, if I've got time. I'm about to leave to have my brother come over and help me with stuff, so... after this song, I'm gonna dip. We're gonna dip. Mochi sheds a little bit, yeah. The car was like, bro, perfectly clean, and then Mochi gets in it. And then on top of that, fucking hair flies everywhere. So you got hair and throw up. And yet somehow it's still cleaner than me. God bless Mochi. Family tree reveal. What? I need to put this down. I'm getting, like, absolutely sick looking at the same thing. No, but I do have plushies for sale. Because I have excess, and a few people... Actually, there was a guy in here, I don't know if he's still here. Cup of Draven bought one. I do have a few. Limited quantity. Yes. They're not retail. Considering some wank on eBay wants fucking $200 for it, so I said, hell no. You're crazy. But I do have them brand new. They were supposed to be, they were supposed to be for giveaways until illegal giveaways happened and Mr. Beast, had videos made on him. So, you know. No, they're in my Discord. If you join my Warhammer Discord and you go down, you'll see a tab where I'm selling a bunch of stuff, just like my old collection. You'll see, if you want, how to buy stuff, feedback from other people who've bought stuff from me. Just give it a look. Take a look. Right? And, I still do have them, so. Oh, the song ended. Shit. Okay, we'll do one more song. I'm in the middle of this one anyways. Can I almost stab myself? No, you're good, bro. No worries. Do you listen to Escape the Fate? No. I think I've heard of that band, but no. Isn't that like metalcore? For me, metalcore is not really... Ugh. It's not my thing. Metalcore is not for me. Okay, I am so done. My hands are like completely soaked with sweat and they're all pruned. I'm done, folks. That's it for me. I gotta go. I gotta have my brother come over and help me with some stuff, so I'm just gonna call it here. I will be on. Maybe you'll see me tonight on the main channel. Ideally, I do get on and stream, even for like an hour and a half, you know, something tiny, if anything. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a break and finish a few things, and then potentially come back. So take care of yourselves. Be well. Peace, peace. Have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and I will see you either tonight or tomorrow. So peace, peace, folks. Be well, and take care of yourselves. Peace, guys.